absolutely. Let me just be perfectly clear about this. I think the modern Democratic Party is an existential threat to the Republic. And although I am a Democrat, I've been a Democrat my whole life, the party that I see in front of me today is literally the inverse of the party I signed up for. This is now the party of war. This is the party of racism. This is the party of censorship. I don't recognize this party. There is no conceivable scenario in which I would vote for Kamala Harris. I just simply will not do it. Am I open to voting for Trump? I am. I'm especially open to it if he is partnered with Bobby Kennedy, because what that tells me is that my values, which are a much closer match for Bobby's, are represented in that administration. And that's really what I want. I want a coalition to redefine American politics because, frankly, we have a long-standing problem with corruption, which has now turned into something else with the modern Democratic Party. But we need to rethink the way we govern ourselves so that corruption is not the dominant force. And a coalition is the way we're going to do that.
This fight is no longer between Democrats and Republicans. This is a fight between communism and freedom. It's a very serious fight. That's why millions of traditional Democrats, including FDR Democrats, JFK Democrats, independents, and old-fashioned liberals, are joining our movement. Our poll numbers are great. We're uniting forces to end the endless foreign wars, stop the censorship, end weaponization of our government, defend our borders, rebuild our middle class, protect the health of our children, and above all, to restore our republic and vanquish the corruption that's all over Washington, D.C. right now.
As you see from the intro, Donald Trump is really creating a party that's like a coalition per se that's really making me rethink politics. I think a lot of people I believe many people should be rethinking politics, and I think tribalism has really infected our politics today, right? Because right now you got like pro-lifers out here on this ideological so-called principled I'm not going to vote for Trump because he's not pro-life enough. He's the least pro-life president that we ever seen out of the Republican Party. He's not a true Republican. You got Republicans on X talking about the fact that it's a problem that Donald Trump is having Democrats as a part of his administration. And I'm honestly sick of it. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm voting based off ideas. I'm voting based on policy, right? I don't care about political allegiances. And I think this is one of the reasons why I still have not registered myself as a Republican. I've been independent since a day I became a voting age when my mom tried to force me into being a Democrat. You put Democrat on I still remember that day. You're going to put Democrat on that ticket, on that voting card. And I was like, I don't know what the Democrats stand for. I'm not going to put myself as a Democrat. Democrats are for black people. I said, what do you mean? What exactly you mean when you say the Democrats are for black people, Mom? Mom couldn't answer a question. My butt put independent. Like, that's how I am. And the fact that I'm starting to see the same pattern here in the Republican Party, it's concerning to me, honestly, because I think this is a good thing. I think when your ideas are so good that people want to partner with you to make that dream actualize. Let's make America great again. Let's make America healthy again. Let's make America safe again, right? That's an ethos. That's a message that all Americans can get behind because in the day, we all benefit from that message. We all benefit from being healthier. We all benefit from being safer, right? Look at what's going on in the borders. Who's more closer to helping you get to that end? And when I hear pro-lifers or, in my view, single-issue voters come out and say, I'm going to make a principal stance because Trump is not everything that I want, and my condolences to those people, but I'm like, you're expecting perfection that doesn't exist. That's all I'm trying to say. Because Trump did more for the pro-life movement than any president before. And you voted for all of them. You voted for Bush. You supported Lindsey Graham. Do you think Lindsey Graham is pro-life? I'm just asking the question. But this is the tribalism that I'm kind of want to speak out against in this video because I honestly believe that Donald Trump is actually the most moderate Republican maybe in the history of this party. Maybe. I don't know. Y'all probably going to find someone else. Y'all probably going to go through the history books and find someone else. But I honestly believe that in this election, when the Democrats are trying to cast and frame Donald Trump as a far-right extremist, it's hard to believe that when he has a Kennedy endorsing him. It's hard to believe that when he has Tulsi Gabbard endorsing him, former Democrats endorsing him. It's hard to believe that because who the walkaway movement is about. Many people, there's more people, I believe, walking away from the Democratic Party than from the Republican Party, showing you with your eyes that the Democrats are more extremist than the Republican Party. But for some reason, the mainstream media, which is 97% Democrat, are pushing out this fake narrative about Donald Trump being the extremist. Check out this clip and then I'll go further on my train of thought. Let's check out this clip of Vivek actually talking about the fact that Donald Trump is actually the centrist in this race. Let's take a look.
I love the media shorthand of Donald Trump and the far right MAGA extremists, which, to your point, ideologically speaking, Donald Trump and the movement that he has built is not particularly ideologically far right in context.
It's very practical, actually.
Right. And so you're right. I don't think there is any sort of discussion on a national level about serious ideology whatsoever. It's basically just a whatever you can slap on a bumper
And you can
sticker.
debate whether that itself is a good thing or a bad thing. I think you could make the case either way. But the irony is they wanted a less ideological GOP, and that's what they got, right? They wanted that back in the 2000s. That's exactly what they got. And yet now the threats are more histrionic than ever, which I don't think actually – I mean, it actually says a lot of what you get out of the Democratic Party isn't particularly ideological either. And I think each party has made a habit of defining itself in opposition to the other, that both of them in some ways have lost their sense of what they actually stand for.
Just powers become the principle, the ultimate overriding principle of everything.
Well, it certainly is on the left. No question about that.
The culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions. Whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, whatever the fuck it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing, and I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side, and if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do, and no one's critically thinking about this.
You guys always know me. I got receipts for you guys. So I wanted to highlight how Obama on immigration, no free rides, no instant amnesty, learn English. Currently, in 2024, who's closer to Obama's position on immigration? Donald Trump. But we loved it, right? We all loved it. Oh my God, yes. There should be no instant amnesty. What is Joe Biden was trying to do right now in his administration? What Harris is trying to do in her administration right now? But all of a sudden, because it's coming out of Trump's mouth, it's xenophobic, it's this and that. Trump has been saying the same ish since years ago. For years, he's been talking about this. He's been talking about on foreign policy, how America is being taken advantage of. This is the ethos of American first. I am a nationalist before I am a Republican, right? I'm not to me, this is why I laugh when people say, Kenny, you're biased. Kenny, you're making Republican talking points. And I'm like, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent voter. Like I'm still a registered independent. Earlier in this channel, I made mention that, hey, I'm going to be more politically involved than I've ever been in my life. I've been passively political, but now I'm going to be actively political. And maybe by the end of the year, I'll register as a Republican or some other party. I've still not done that, mainly because of the fact that I'm noticing all these purity tests that the conservative Republican right attempts to try to do. And in my head, I'm like, I am a nationalist. I am American first. I believe, hey, as a conservative, I am a conservative though. Ideologically, I am a conservative. And what I'm striving to conserve is the sovereignty and the prosperity of my country. And I'm agree only with policies that I believe will better preserve the power of my country, the interests of my country, and the sovereignty of my country. Who represents that more? Donald Trump. Does Donald Trump do everything I want? No. But based on that trade-off, Donald Trump gives me more bang for my vote. While you got pro-lifers who can't seem to make that same political calculation. And I think this is why I said we need to rethink politics. To me, if you're a single issue voter, don't vote. That goes for both sides. If your abortion is the most important thing to you, which it seems like for many suburban women, 38% of suburban women believe that abortion is the top issue for them. Imagine that. First world problems. If first world problems was a dictionary, that would be it. Really, suburban women? Abortion is your biggest issue? Okay. And this is the problem. This is why I say I think we need to rethink politics, right? Because that's insanity to me. on one issue that to me is not very consequential. Like, I'm like, okay, you want the right to kill your offspring. Nice. Like, but how is that going to help you with inflation? Cost of living. Kamala Harris is going to give you that one thing that you want, but then it's going to make everything, it'll make it hard for you to survive, essentially. Inflation is going to be through the roof. You're going to be in 4 wars. I don't think you'll have time to enjoy abortion being codified. Kamala packing the courts. This is how they use carrot on the stick tactics to get people into voting for their destruction, like sheep to the slaughter. And then on the other side with Trump, he's building a unified government where he get people of different ideological views. For the longest time, Republicans been trying to appeal to people in the moderate middle. And as you saw from the intro, with RFK making a partnership with Donald Trump's campaign, many people are more open than ever to vote for Donald Trump because of the fact that he's running as a pure moderate. Because in reality, Trump is a moderate. But we believe the mainstream media's narrative, because of repetition, and I told you about repetition, aka brainwashing, to convince us to look at Donald Trump as some far-right extremist when Obama in 2008 was saying stuff like this.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. It's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it. I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration. But they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it. So we've got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are...
Remember, like Trump said, I like legal immigration. But Donald Trump is an extremist, oh my God. Most Americans believe with that. Majority of Americans believe in mass deportation? Donald Trump represents the interests of the American people. As a nationalist, he represents my interest. Hey, look, illegal immigration doesn't help our system. It's a drain on our system. Majority of people who was on welfare and all these government benefits are illegal immigrants. They're getting $15,000 on food stamp EBT cards for hopping over the fence, as Obama would phrase it. Before, we used to try to disincentivize that behavior. Now the Democrat Party is trying to reward that behavior. But what pro-lifers worrying about? Oh, ideological purity test. The pro-life movement should want abortion taken off the table for a decade at the federal level. Nationally, it's a 65-35 issue that they are on the wrong side of. If the issue is nationally salient, then the most likely outcome is codifying Roe. Y'all need to retrench. Hey. And that's women who put that as that priority. This has nothing to do with men. So you women, y'all hash that out. I mean, I'm still giving my opinion on it, but I'm just saying, like, women are most likely to say that abortion is our top issue. And with men, I notice is either immigration, crime, the economy, like those things to me is a higher priority than abortion. Because many people claim the fact that, oh, maybe people get abortion because they can't financially take care of a kid. How is voting for a candidate that's going to make inflation, crime? How is allowing a candidate like Kamala Harris to win actually helping the pro-life movement? I'd like to know that. Oh, it's based on principles. Okay, your principles, your decision based on principles, and this is why I say people who use principles as an excuse to do nothing, which is not vote, sit on the couch, protest. Okay. If Kamala Harris wins, should we blame pro-lifers for the fact that Kamala Harris wins? And whatever Kamala Harris do, it will be on the feet at the pro-life movement, the so-called pro-life movement, who is being castigated as grifters right now. See, this is the purity test that I'm talking about. Because then pro-lifers make this argument about how, oh, we don't want to support a candidate because he's not pro-life enough. And then people ask, well, Donald Trump did more to move the needle for the pro-life initiative than any president before him. And then they try to minimize his impact. Oh, if you had put any Republican president, they would have done the same thing. Well, could any Republican president had won in 2016? No. I honestly believe that. You can't make the argument that, oh, any Republican president could have done that in 2016 when could any Republican nominee at the time, won the 2016 election, Donald Trump brought a lot of former Obama voters in 2016. My dad being one of them. You saw how Obama talked 2008? That's what my dad voted for. My dad was like, "Oh my God, Obama, I agree with him on this issue. I am a legal immigrant." This is my father. My father said he's a legal immigrant. He came over this country, he became a citizen in 2000, I believe, around when Bush was running, voted for Bush twice. He voted for Obama. He said, "Yeah, I agree," because my dad voted based on ideas. And I guess he passed that tradition on me, voting based on ideas. And then he saw what Obama did. He's like, "Oh no, this man, all talk. Kenny, this is my dad's literally bar for bar what my dad told me. Kenny, Democrats are only talk." Okay. And then I observe, right, when liberals come in here, "Oh, you're voting against your best interest." How I'm voting against my best interest, liberal voter? Liberal voter proceeds to make stereotypes based on my skin color. Hey, that sounds kind of racist. Oh no, but liberals ain't racist. No, not every liberal is a race. Wait, what is it? Not every conservative are a racist, but every racist is a conservative. That's what that liberal told me. And I said, well, you just lied, because essentially what you said is kind of racist. You assume something about me because of just because of how I look or my color of the skin. That make you more racist? So aren't you kind of debunking your own claim, liberal? Then I get proceeded to be called names. That's the reality. Actions speak louder than words. Results speak louder than narratives. Right? This is what I'm talking about. This is the tweet I'm talking about. If you don't stand for pro-life principles, you don't get pro-life votes. Layla, I can donate my monetization tech for the rest of the year to the crisis pregnancy centers of your choice if you come on Life X Space and explain life action spending and tax filing. Now, look what's happening now. Because y'all want to play purity games. And this is my problem about rethinking politics. And this is why I say I want to end tribalism in politics. Is that instead of focusing on the things you do agree on, y'all want to focus on things you don't agree on. And that's what caused division in the party. You're a pro-lifer. Trump does everything for you satisfactory except that position. And then you're saying, I don't want to do, if you don't stand on pro-life principles, you don't get to get the pro-life vote. Trump is just neutral on the abortion. On a federal level, and I agree with this too, on a federal level, abortion should not be the case. Because at the end of the day, women are the one who's making these choices. This is different from slavery. Slavery is you owning someone else. It was obvious that slavery was bad. It was hard to hide the fact that you had slaves. Only 1% of the population had slaves, right? This is why I laugh when pro-lifers try to compare abortion with slavery. The concept of human rights, like that is comparable. Yes, you're perceiving someone as non-human because of arbitrary reasons. That is equivalent to slavery. But the circumstances of slavery itself, only 1% of society owns slaves. While abortion, 65% of women support it? And 65% of those women could act on it if they wanted to? This is different. It's similar, but it's different. Similar to slavery, for the fact that just because of an arbitrary reason, your skin color, it makes you you don't have human rights because of your skin color. Okay, your baby doesn't have rights because of the fact that it's not born. Make it make sense. That's similar. I agree. But to me, I'm like, Lincoln made practical steps. And when he saw the opportunity, then he acted on it, which was the Civil War. Civil War was his opportunity to end slavery. But politically, he didn't run on that. He ran on, hey, I'm just trying to give these people rights. These people should benefit from the fruits of their own labor. He made arguments against it. But a man that's neutral on it, a man that did more for your movement than any presidents prior, you want to criticize him and say he doesn't want to get your vote because you don't think he's ideologically driven enough. And that's why I put the video of Vivek talking about how Donald Trump is actually a centrist. For decades, people have been complaining, Republicans, stop being so ideological. And they finally got a Republican president, a Republican presidential candidate who's more practical than political, more practical than ideological, and y'all still complaining about it when he has results to speak behind helping your initiative go forward. Now people are calling it a grift. Oh, these people are grifting. They need abortion to be a problem to continue getting fundraisers and paying themselves six figures. Not a good look. Now there's mudslinging going on. Now, I'm not gonna, to me, this is what women do. Like y'all, they love to try to character assassinate people. That's the number one form of female bullying. It's character assassination. So when I see what's going on, I'm like, yeah, that's par for the course. If those who are angry of some pro-lifers who aren't voting for Trump, have you tried, I don't know, trying to persuade them, or do you feel that the constant demanding and berating them is effective? But the reality is, it's pro-lifers doing this themselves, because now they're calling everyone, "Oh my God, you guys are cultists because y'all support anything Trump do." No, we're making a practical decision where we're saying abortion, from a practical point of view, no one can really do anything more on abortion. It's up to the states, and there's nothing indicating on the state level that this issue is actually helping the Republicans get into power, because at the end of the day, you can't make changes. Your principles can't give you power, and without power you cannot make changes. I think it's funny that Trump's first term got Roe v. Wade overturned, and now people are attacking him for not being anti-abortion enough. Hopefully, if Kamala wins, packs the courts, and then reinstitute Roe v. Wade, these people will regret it. And this is the pragmatism that I'm talking about. It seems like many people like pragmatism. And this all goes back, I know it was a long-winded point. I know I went everywhere, but it goes back to this tribalism that I'm talking about. You got a tribe of people that feel like they've been ignored. And in my head, I'm like, okay, are you for America, or are you just for your own ideological purview? And this is the ideological Republican Party I think needs to kind of be not pushed to the side, but they need to be more pragmatic about how they approach their voting decisions and how they project themselves. Because it always seems like they're always like, every couple of months, there's always seems to be some drama that's happening on the Republican Party. And that's off-putting to me as someone who wants to focus on the pragmatic and the practical. But before then, I want to end off this video of Robert F. Kennedy kind of explaining this agreement that he had with Donald Trump with Dr. Phil. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted, Dr. Phil. I'm just using your clip for 1 minute, please.
Grew up in the Democratic Party, and I had the same kind of orientation towards abhorrence for, I'd say, President Trump as many Democrats, maybe 4 years ago, mainly because of his environmental stances, which I continue to disagree with. But my conversations with President Trump were very amiable, and he talked about starting a unity party, about President Lincoln and his team of rivals. And I could come in and support him because of these existential issues, censorship, war, chronic disease, that I feel strongly about, he feels strongly about, and that Kamala is on the wrong side. That I could continue to criticize him on issues where I don't agree with him, and he was very comfortable with that, and I like that too. I don't, I'm not gonna co-sign a lot of the things he says and endorses, but
and as you saw from that, I can agree with that. I believe in, and this is the funny part is, there's some people who are just like staunch Republicans, I guess, who try to frame this as, oh my God, I can't vote for Trump now because he's creating a unity party. And to me, I'm like a uniparty, sorry. And I'm like, which, like, context matters. Let's think about this. If someone creates a unity party that's based on what's in the best interest of Americans, is that a bad unity party? Versus a uniparty that's based on political control, power and control, like the current establishment, Republicans and Democrats, has been for decades. Look at 2017. They allowed Trump to pass his tax cuts, and then for the rest of the year they're fighting him on the border wall. Establishment Republicans and establishment Democrats voted together to stop Trump from building the wall. And now Trump is making his own coalition, his own kind of uniparty that's helping him go against the establishment government that has not been serving the people for I don't know how many decades. They have not been serving the best interests of the people. Is war in the best interest of the people? No, it's not, because whose lives are going to be lost? Not the politicians that got us into these situations. It's going to be the unsuspecting people who are called upon to sacrifice their life in defense of their country. When in reality, these politicians are using that to defend their interests. Use you as pawns to some game, some globalist game. But pro-lifers saying my principles, I can't vote for Donald Trump because he's not pro-life enough. Okay, trade-offs. Who's going to bring you closer to your interests? And let me rephrase the question. Who's not going to set you back from your goal? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Donald Trump, who's like, nah, federal abortion laws at the federal level is done with me. Like Trump's like, I'm not going to put anything for abortion on a federal level. Or the person who's like, I'm going to put abortion on the federal level, and you not voting helps her get into power. 2024 is not the time for ideological purity, right? This is an all-star team for American First Movement. And last time I checked, Americans are just not Republicans. Last time I checked, Americans are just not Democrats. And I believe Donald Trump is more representative of the populace. And if you're mad about the fact that the populace is 65-35 for abortion, then that shows you that you need more work to do on persuading the culture into adopting your politics. Because at the end of the day, politics is a downstream of culture. And if you have a culture that 65% of them agree with some form of abortion, then you must change the culture first before you can sit here and demand Donald Trump to ban abortion. Because at the end of the day, as a politician, it's not his job to essentially force change on people. That's authoritarianism. That's a king. We're representing a president. A president is a representation of the people. And currently, Trump represents the people. And you don't, pro-lifers. I'm just being honest. As a pro-lifer, I understand that. So you have to come in as a persuader. Hey, let me try to persuade more people to see what I see. And you don't want to do the hard work, it seems. Instead, you just want top down. No, we don't agree with top down. We believe in bottom up. Okay, so live by your principles, pro-lifers. Bottom up. Continue advocating. Continue going to these college campuses like Turning Point USA. Continue advocating for these beliefs, because at the end of the day, people had 70 years of Roe v. Wade. And to me, before we can get back to neutral again, 50-50 again, we need 70 years of no Roe v. Wade. And who's going to better maintain that? Because change comes slowly. And it seems like we got a lot of impatient people that wants change to happen now. And I think that's very impractical in our current political climate. But let me know your thoughts about this in the communism in the comment section. Do you agree with my synopsis? Do you agree that tribalism is a problem in politics? Do you believe with me that we need to rethink how we view politics from a more or less of ideological point of view and more from a practical? The ideas can fuel the actions. I agree. Yes, your ideology can fuel your approach, but I think we need to focus more on the feasibility of things versus the desirability of things. And I think that's what we're getting caught up on in our current politics. But that's just my thoughts. Let me hear yours in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.